You are watching the weekly brief right here on News9. Now, if you start opening an app right now, a quick commerce app on your phone right now, chances are by the time we end talking, your order would have been delivered and the doorbell in your house would have rung. But that could potentially change, and it seems that the quick commerce players have gone ahead and sort of complied with the government's wishes of at least not promoting 10-minute deliveries in the, of course, the pretext of the kind of conversations that we had seen and the chaos that we saw around New Year's Eve and a few days before that, where there were questions being raised by gig workers on their own safety and, of course, the wages that they are paid for delivering those 10-minute orders. It seems potentially for now, Rakesh, let me begin with you this time, that the promise of a 10-minute delivery is off the table. But beyond a stated, communicated promise, there is this entire play of competitive advantage. At the end of the day, the app experience is homogeneous, the products being delivered are homogeneous. How do these quick commerce players differentiate themselves if not on time?
Well, I think, we overplayed the time factor in this case. There's no real study which I can quote, but I guess, it's more on the emotional and the sentimental factor that this 10-minute became the determining factor to determine the success of a particular app.
Did it not?
No, it didn't. To my mind, a certain set of audience picked up 10 minutes as the real time. But, the rise of so many players in the business ensured that there was a quicker delivery. 10 minutes not always being the arbiter. My worry in this case, Karthik, is that, the minister intervened, rightly so, and called for not promoting this 10-minute as the key USP. But the bigger issue, which he also focused on, where we're not focusing equally, is the welfare of all these workers. That's where it all began. That was the cause to the end. 10 minutes is a function, it's a feature.
Sure.
You don't always use all features, even in a phone that you use.
I agree. But just to play devil's advocate for a minute, and Sri, let me bring you also into this conversation. I think the fact is that we are talking about the welfare of the gig workers, no doubt, right? But the gig workers have got this one job called the gig work that they do. In the absence of any other potentially relevant or viable employment opportunity available to them, why would companies shell out more money? I understand they might not be earning as much as they potentially should, but given it is a low skill sector and employment continues to be, urban employment continues to be a challenge, at least there is a player which is, or multiple players now, which are generating this employment. And why should they pay anything above the market rate or the next best opportunity cost?
So I think it's not just about the wage per se, Karthik, it's about the whole design of the incentive system. Because when you are committing yourself to a 10-minute delivery, if let's say the agent doesn't deliver within 10 minutes, then there is a disincentive structure that kicks in. And sometimes what happens is, you may end up losing money as a delivery agent. End of the day, you haven't made enough money. Number two, you may stop getting, peak delivery assignments. You may get fewer orders. And the fact is that you as a delivery agent, you're taking care of your vehicle. It's your own vehicle, you're paying for the fuel, the maintenance, everything. So the game is already loaded against you. And frankly, as a consumer, do I mind an extra minute, extra 5-minute delay versus safer roads? I would definitely go for safer roads.
But if I again were to play devil's advocate, and I'm referring to the post by Dipinder Goyal on X and on LinkedIn, I think he very categorically stated that not once is there an instance of the delivery rider's life being put at stake because the technology,
That's not fair.
That's what I'm saying. I'm playing devil's advocate here, and I'm quoting what he said, and he said that the entire web of technology, complex technology at play, is that high intensity residential areas is where the dark stores are. On an average, 2.5 minutes is what it takes for an order to be packed, and thereafter it is not more than a 5-minute ride for a delivery agent, and the average speed that they ride at is 20 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, so but which side of the road are they driving? You've seen people driving on the wrong side of the road.
He also said that there is no timer, there is no clock, and the delivery riders don't really know what is the stipulated time under which they have to deliver.
Fair enough.
So
the bigger problem,
are we reading too much into it? If those guys want to, if the delivery riders want to save fuel, want to take wrong turns, want to speed, want to not wear helmets, does it become a corporate problem?
No,
it is a corporate problem.
It's a corporate problem because you are enforcing.
Or if it's a law enforcement problem.
No, it is both. It is both.
Built on this promise of 10-minute delivery.
The ecosystem maintains first and foremost a right delivery vehicle. The vehicle, make and mix that we have for these delivery boys, it's so diverse, it's so unregulated. Most of them don't have lights.
They are all personal vehicles.
They are personal vehicles. They don't have lights. The brakes are not right. They're speeding, and nobody is inspecting that as a regular audit.
But why should the corporate sector be expected to also undertake that massive capital expenditure of giving them vehicles? I'm saying at the end of the day, this is something that the riders
take
are
care of
choosing
that
to do.
aspect of the infrastructure, but
you have
then
to
if your
inspect.
business is putting risks of your employees there, at
Absolutely.
the end of the day, your contract agents, then there is certain moral responsibility you have.
No, there is
towards
corporate
their well-being
responsibility
as well.
also. You know, he's representing Zomato.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Alright.
wearing that bag on that rickety
Absolutely.
scooter,
That's
so
right.
equally responsible for both the scooter, the driver, and the product.
All right. Well, divergent views coming there, mostly in disagreement with my view and with
That's
Deepinder
okay.
Goyal's view. But I think we will shake hands on that. And thank you so much, Sri. Pleasure having you here with
Thank you,
us
Karthik,
on
for
the
having
weekly
me.
brief
Thank you,
once again.
Karthik.
Thanks, Rakesh.
Happy to have you.
And
More of this.
of course. And with that, we come to an end of this week's edition of the weekly brief. We'll of course see you again next week. Thanks so much for watching.